This was so good.
This was... I feel a little different than you. I think this was the best match of the night. I think easily the best match of the night, at least for me. I don't think it lived up to the hype. I don't know. I don't think when I seen these four coming at it, or at least the three, and I think most fans too, I think we expected a barn burner, and we got a good match. It was a good match. This one I also felt was too long, but this one came in at 30 minutes. To me, that didn't work. The heat segments kind of went on too long. Also, when they should have kind of sparked off into something else, it was like, oh, no, now there's 2 or 3 more things. And it felt kind of bloated. It felt like every section of the match just went 1 or 2 moves or 1 or 2 segments too long for me. And I think you could tell because, at least from what I've seen, the fans kind of started falling asleep during this match, which is sad because I think it was the best match of the night.
Well, it's because you're having a New Japan-style match in America. At least that's what I felt.
Kind of. You know, not... I would agree, but I don't think that Page, Wheeler, and Hardwood are meant for that. But at the same time, you're going to like this, Pasty. This was an awesome showcase for Page. I was super impressed with him. I dare say he was the breakout of the match and stole the show. I got to give it up for my boy Adam Page. I'm not a big fan of his. I still say he's probably the weakest in the Elite, but this match was he looked better than the other 3 guys, I thought. I thought it was fucking awesome. I was behind Page the whole way.
Hell yeah.
Way too many false finishes. Way too many false finishes, but that kind of seems to be AEW's card still. I think they could cut back on that for, like you talk about a New Japan style match. New Japan kind of saves those for like the main event and maybe one other big thing.
Yeah.
But the actual finish I thought was done really well, made sense, especially with them not trusting each other. I thought it really worked, and I think FTR is definitely great for the division, and I think they needed to get those titles, and I think this pay-per-view was the place to actually wrote on here, this was the correct time to pull the V trigger on them. But I do think it was a shame it didn't live up to expectations, at least for me. I think at this point we're allowed to demand better from these 4 guys in this point in their careers, but that's just me. I gave it a B+. I really liked it.
Yeah. I also think it's kind of important you don't hit the ground running at 100 miles an hour because then there's nowhere to go from there.
Kind of, but these 2 teams aren't going anywhere in the future anyways. So
right. Well, I mean, Adam Page and Omega are done.
Yeah, so why not have these 2 put in a barn burner?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to seeing some singles work between Adam Page and Kenny Omega in the future.
It'll be interesting. I'm still not sold on Page. He showed he can do it. He showed it's in him tonight. I'll give that 100%. But I'm still not sold on him. I'd like to see a singles run with Omega and Page in a few different matches. It'd be interesting. If Omega can't get great matches out of him, then I'll stick with how I feel about him.
Yeah. I have a feeling they will, though, just due to how well they work together as a tag team. I think they'll do well against each other as well. Then we had Fat Mac's ultimate favorite match of all time. 17 stars is what he told me. The Mimosa Mayhem match. Seeing Orange Cassidy defeating La Champion, Chris Jericho, who's not the champion, but he still calls himself that, and I love it.
It's a title.
It is. I also like the Demo God. That's a really good tag.
I like the Demo God.
Yes.
See, I wish he'd go with that.
Did you hear Jericho on his tirade about fucking when they first let
butt
fans
fucking.
in? Yes.
I didn't hear him talking about
butt fucking. About butt fucking. No, they let fans into AEW and they started chanting Y2J at Chris Jericho, and then he did a stream video and he kind of snapped off on everybody for it.
I heard
that was
about
20
it.
years ago. WWE doesn't even call me Y2J anymore.
Yeah, but dude, it's gonna happen.
Right.
People still say you suck when Kurt Angle comes out. He doesn't shit on people for it.
Right. Yeah.
Jericho seems to be becoming old man yells at cloud a lot.
A little bit, yeah. He's like almost the bigger instigator with WWE than even Cody Rhodes. The way he like calls them out and yells shit and like, oh yeah, NXT should go to Tuesdays. Get the hell away from our show. Then maybe they can get some ratings. Like
he has been lately. He just I love Jericho. I love his in-ring work and I love his promos and stuff. But yeah, he just kind of seems like he's becoming that out of touch old wrestler.
Yeah, if it's a character, it works. You know what I mean? I hope it's not him, like in general.
Yeah.
But I thought this was better than I had anticipated. They had 2 vats of mimosa on either side of the ring, and they weren't mobile. It was just 2 like hot tub sized pits.
Did they have 2 vats? I didn't even know.
Yes, there was one on either side of the ring.
One
on either side of the ring.
Huh. Sad.
No, I thought this was good. It was a good showcase for Orange Cassidy. It is kind of weird. I don't know that if he's always done it or if it's just something he's come up with since Roman Reigns came back heel or what, but the Orange Punch.
The Orange Punch. Yeah, I've never known the Orange Punch, but it could be something from before.
Yeah. Either way, I think it's funny they're going to try to get over a baby face with a Superman punch when WWE couldn't do it. So
yeah, but it fits Orange's character a little bit.
Yeah. The way he throws his body and he like twists in midair, it's very Marvel. Like holy shit.
Right.
But I thought this match was good, and then after the fact, Chris Jericho had done a thing talking about it, and he was talking about how he had watched all these old like explosive ring matches and stuff like that. He wanted to do something like that, but of course, safer. and so I guess it makes sense. Like they really don't want to fall into the pit. There's a lot of real close calls and all this. There was more they could have done with it. I hope it doesn't come back again. But for what it's worth, it was fun. This could have been higher in the card. I think you could have probably put the cinematic match in this position and push the Mimosa Mayhem up to mid card probably, instead of being the piss break match that we all know the 8th match usually is.
You said it was better than you expected. My first sentence in my notes, I didn't know what to expect, but I know I wanted better. I think this was perfect for a piss break match. This was bad. This was just bad. There was no redeeming qualities. I'll give it one redeeming quality, and that's that we got to see Orange Cassidy do just his wrestler gimmick and not his kind of out of it guy. You know, he wasn't nonchalant at all. He went full in. He was a wrestler from the beginning. Jumped in right away and didn't play any of those games. And he works that way. He has to keep his character. Don't get me wrong. It has to be a major match that he does it. But it works. The teasers
That's where I question, like, if you put the title on him, then he has to care, right? He can't do that. I don't care so much.
Well, we'll have to find out, I guess. I don't see Orange Cassidy having the world title. I hope not.
Chris Jericho called this as an experiment to see if they could put Orange Cassidy over as a top guy. So,
but you can be a top guy without winning the title ever.
Yeah.
I thought the teases were well done, but like you said, Jericho said he's seen the barbed wire matches and the glass matches and kind of wanted to go with that. And I see exactly what he's saying now that he says that, but at the same time,
there's nothing scary about a vat of mimosa.
Well, I guess other than your pride, you don't want to lose. But anybody who's watched those old FMW, IWA matches, I mean, they were all movable objects. You could move those panes of glasses. You could move those exploding barbed wire. They were just all they were wood pieces of pallet wood with or particle board with landmines in them, and they weren't even real landmines. They were just like pyro. But
yeah,
and they moved them all over. They put them in the ring. They put them on the outside of the ring. They'd set them up in turnbuckles, so you could set up spots where you could tell they were kind of forcing spots that didn't quite work. They were almost falling into the vat where it was like obvious, kind of cartoonish, like woo 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 woo. You could see Fred Flintstone doing it or something, and it. I'll tell you this: Cassidy got the crowd fired up.
Yeah.
How that fucking happened. The tag match that I thought was the best, the crowd was fucking sleeping. And this match, the crowd was fucking hyped. So it must have been better live than it was on TV for me, at least, because the crowd was into it. I wasn't. I think it would have been a little better without the handcuff gimmicks also. But I think they did the best with what they had. And I really hope this is the end of the issues between these two, because I was feeling punny when I wrote these. I don't think AEW has any more they can squeeze out of them. I was feeling punny that night. I'm sorry. I think it was because I was hanging out with my boy.
Yeah.
I don't need to see these two wrestle another match.
No, I mean, it's done. It's good. And as of Dynamite, I guess Chris Jericho and Jack Hager are entering themselves in the tag division. So, yeah, I guess you can call yourself done with this. You'll probably see them versus Best Friends.
Right. And I gave this one a D+. I mean, it would have been, if it weren't for Matt Hardy, it would have been the worst match on the card. So I guess they should thank Matt Hardy, at least in my opinion.
You are ultra critical of AEW all the time. But
I don't think I'm ultra critical. I just want them to actually try. You know, if you set up and say you're going to be a major company, just put a little effort in. The smaller companies do it.
Yeah.
I kind of, to me, I think that I think I gauge them the same way I'd gauge WWE, because that's where they've put themselves.
Yeah.
If WWE put on that Mimosa match, you cannot tell me one person on the internet would have thought it was good.
No, probably not.
One.
Definitely
It could have been the exact same match, just with insert this wrestler.
Roman Reigns and
here.
King Corbin.
Yeah, everybody would have said it was the worst thing ever. So I just try to
Vats of dog food.
I try to gauge them like that, and also, I mean, a lot of the talent I think deserves better, and I think we've seen that with Kenny Omega. It's like maybe he's choosing not to put it all out there, and that's okay. But when he has a match, I'm gonna personally expect just a little bit more out of him.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah. Like I said, I think a lot of that, especially with Kenny Omega, is based on the whole everybody thought they were going to push themselves to the moon when the company started, and they had to prove that they weren't going to do it. But now is the time when they have to start doing it, because they need to they need to be the top guys of their company. I hate to say it.
Well, plus you can put on a 5-star match and not win and get your opponent over.
Yeah.
You know, what better way to get your opponent over than to have a 5-star match with them and lose?
Yeah.
So, okay, we're running long, Pasty. Let's move into the main event.
Yes, the AEW World Championship match, seeing Jon Moxley defeating MJF with a banned move. This was a main event. It was 20-some minutes long. It was a Jon Moxley MJF match, and it wasn't probably up to par with what it should have been. The finish was cool. I liked that Wardlow tossed MJF the ring and distracted the ref, and Mox saw the ring and MJF, and it was like, oh, the ref's not looking. I'm going to get you.
Right.
And then the fallout of that is MJF and Wardlow are probably going to split soon as of Dynamite, because MJF was like in his face, and Wardlow tried to get uppy, and he's like, well, AEW doesn't pay you, I do. And so Wardlow kind of pulled back. But I look forward to that kind of boiling over.
That could be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I did like the ending. The only thing...
I suppose that's probably where you have a lot of criticism for this, is there was no real blow-off to anything on this pay-per-view. All the actual blow-off came on Dynamite.
Yeah, you know, which is probably kind of sloppy. I don't know. But I did think that the ending of the match, like you said, it was good. The only issue I have with that is that you had Moxley breaking the rules to beat a rule breaker. And it's like, well...
I think that leaves room for a rematch, though.
It does. And that's one of my criticisms also is the very last sentence in my notes. The last thing we need is another match with these two anytime soon. This did work in some spots. MJF targeting the arms I thought was good. You know, getting ready to do the salt of the earth and trying to put that on so many times.
Yeah.
I liked that. It just felt too... I don't know what was with all these matches. They all felt a little too long, a lot of them. I'm not sure.
It's the Matt Hardy stuff, I think. After Matt Hardy, the rest of the show was real hard to watch. It was... I had a hard time paying attention to anything.
I agree. It lacked a sense of urgency, I thought. It featured, of course, AEW's patented unnecessary blood. There was no reason for blood to get into this feud. I didn't get that point, to be honest.
No.
post-match set up Moxley versus Archer, which we knew coming out of the ladder match, but like you said, logic would dictate MJF will remain in the title hunt, so I put 3-way, meh.
Yeah, that's what
I'm
I think too.
for
I
that.
don't think Lance Archer versus Moxley is going to be a good match on its own. I think you make it a triple threat.
No, but I